We're live. What up, y'all? I'm working on it. I'm working on my attitude. It's fucking poor, but I'm getting there. All y'all who fucking gonna check in, see what's up. Only the most badass is up. That's a statement that has a lot of meaning in it. Right? Are you up for what it fucking takes? Are you ready to stand? So yeah, let's do it. I got the other camera today because I forgot to charge the piece of shit GoPro. Let's stand. If you're new to the channel, the concept is that we do Qigong and stand, and Qigong standing is a tricky way to get yourself into the meditative state because you can't not be in the moment when your awareness is inside. So if you don't know how to do it, go to the video list, go to the bottom, and you'll see Qigong instruction. 1, 2, and 3, thereabouts, and then all of the lives from that point, right? Watch them. The purpose is a solution, right? Because the solution is necessary because there's a problem. But I found that if I take it too seriously, like this has to happen, not just for me, but for everyone, and everyone is me. It would be so fun to do it. So listen to what I'm saying. Go all the way through. Listen while you work out. Do the Qigong. Prepare yourself, right, to receive. And then while I talk, do your weight training. So we stand in the horse stance. You can't see it on this camera, but my legs are bent, shoulder width. I turn the hips under, right, without flexing your glutes. And you do that by pushing your lumbar out, right? Next step is the upper spine, right? So the lumbar goes like this, the upper spine goes like this, right? We want to straighten them so it's straight. I mean, I never really turned to the side, but so it's like a light beam would pass right through your spine, right? You're trying to move all of the eddies that could happen in your energetic river that's flowing through your spine. So we do Qigong to prepare, right? It tricks you into getting into a meditative state because you can't be aware of your body position and not be in the moment, right? It puts you right fucking in the instant. And when you do that, your mind empties of thoughts. It's like a trick. So we do 3 breaths in front of the navel, arms in the bow position, chin dropped, the other instructions. So let us begin. and turn the hands out. So now put the hands in front of your heart, arms in a bow. So not just bent, but like in a curve. Visualize the curve, right? Because it's called the elbow for a reason. Now, third position, which is in front of the third eye. It's a slightly different, but you're still in a bow. It's like you're holding something heavy, or you're preparing to receive up high, right? In front of the third eye, shoulders back. I mean, not back, but down. Back flat, right? The whole thing as flat as possible. And I'm not sure about all of the ways that you bow, but that's the way my teacher taught me. And you bow always eyes up. Eyes down is submissive, right? Everyone's equal. When you use words, you can't avoid using cliche. And cliche turns people the fuck off. Because cliche, fucking, it's just words. It's talk is cheap, you know? And you can say it all you want, but you can never fucking actually get there. Unless you actually do, right? And meditation is something that you arrive at without intention. You can't intend to meditate because that's a cognitive process, right? It's a cognitive, right? If you set out to do it, then you defeat yourself. And so all of this talk, just sitting there and fucking doing all this shit, straightening your spine and stuff, whatever, fine. But if it's active, if you're standing, your whole body's involved, right? And it's your whole body that perceives. This is the other thing that I harp on, right? I guess today we'll do a little quick review. First of all, I'm the prime tenet of what I am offering with all of this content. One of them is that you cannot say what is, right? So I'm not making any definitive declarations, but I'm saying that there's these rules that involve this uncertainty, and the rules are fixed. They're immutable, right? And the uncertainty comes into play when you are a sentient being, right? And so to claim a position and be certain of it is only setting yourself up to be proven wrong, right? Because as more information comes, what appears to be changes, right? And there's a new set of appearances. And so that's the rule of thumb suggested by general semantics, which is you cannot use the word is, right? And absolute knowledge is unobtainable, is that there's always a new frontier, right? And that is what our gifts as human beings are to do, is to cross those boundaries into uncharted territory. That's what we're supposed to do. And we haven't, right? We fucking have been doing the same thing for many thousands of years, right? And so it's not uncharted territory. It's the same circular rut. I'm just reviewing right now. So what we have to comprehend is that I'm uttering the truth, but I'm not claiming fucking any kind of knowledge. It's only if you are aware, right? If you are aware, you have the truth available to you, right? When you claim the truth as your own, then you are not aware, right? You have shunted yourself into a tiny little thing, right? With a tiny little peephole to look out of, right? So this is the review. That is the problem with our civilization, right? That thing right fucking there is that claiming credit, right? Is this individualization of novelty. This, and when I say novelty, it's like, for example, like a patent, right? Like a new fucking product, right? The whole, right, the patent system is designed to make sure that the creator, right, gets credit, right, and gets the benefits thereof, right? I'm not dogging it. I have a patent, but I'm saying the patent, I'm just using it as an example, as the way that our society works is this selfish claiming of credit, right? Where it's silly in a way, right? And so we have to recognize that it's the entirety. It is the collective and the previous generations, right, that are responsible for our ability to even fucking talk about or to be creative or anything, right? It is the collected knowledge, right, that makes that possible. So that on one level suggests that anything that we do would not have been possible if all of us aren't doing it, you know? And so this credit claiming on that level alone can be fucking um, disputed, right? And that is the mundane level. That's the level of down here at the physical, right? In order to kind of come at this from a place that you can grasp, right? Because often we don't ever consider these things, like what does it mean, right? And why is it that we need to protect our ideas, you know? Because other motherfuckers will steal them, right? So this is still review. This is still review. I'm just trying to bring you up to speed if you're fresh, so that you know what's happening here, right? There's a problem with our civilization, right? And it's not fucking unfixable. It's not, this is just how it is, right? It's not the nature of humanity, the reason that this exists, right? So there's a problem, right? And for every problem, right, there has to be a solution, right? And so to alleviate the symptoms that emanate from the problem, right? So we don't treat the symptoms, right? All of the problems in our civilization, all of them, all the little ones, you know, macro and micro, are all fucking um, caused by the same thing, the root fucking uh, cause, right? Uh, all of the things that are wrong come from a root problem, a root a deeply buried um, assumption that rarely ever gets looked at, right? And it's because, and but it does though, because it's reinforced constantly that it's our nature. The reason that we're like this is because it's our nature, right? And so, right, to review, I am suggesting that it's not our nature. The problems that we have, right, come from a root cause, right, that is unnatural, right, that is conditioned, right? It's a condition. It's like an illness, right? It's a condition that is treatable. And so, in every way, no matter what tribe you're in, right, if you can't see our problems as a condition, right, then you are being controlled in your perception. And this shit goes across the board. It's across the fucking board. Doesn't matter which camp you're in, you know, what country, what tribe, right? There's this basic assumption. I've been over it. Fucking, this is still just review, right? So everyone new knows what's going on. There's, for me, it's like, it's really difficult, right? Not only is that a condition, but we are conditioned to the nth degree in all kinds of ways. And this generation, the most current, you know, we're all subject to the same bombardment of fucking information. I'll just say we're all subject to it. Doesn't matter what generation you're in, right? It's just that each generation has their set of goggles that so it allows them to see the world in the way that in which they were brought up, right? Their background. And so there's these clear divisions, but we are all subject to the same fucking shit, right? And it's a constant bombardment, right? In order to maintain the condition. So all we have to do is cure ourselves of the condition. And that's what I'm suggesting. There's nothing to be done because we're already fully evolved, right? We already have the capability to operate in a way that is our natural form, right, as a collective, right? And so, again, part of the review is that we are a collective, right? There's no fucking identification. You can't identify yourself without relationship, right? And that's what I was suggesting before, and that, like, there's no fucking, what are you going to do by yourself, right? um, the novel creativity in a vacuum, like one individual, like on a moon, millions of miles from anyone, right? The only way that anything that that individual did creatively would become would not just turn to dust was if someone else was able to observe it, right, and recognize its value, right, and then preserve it through relationship, through the passing on of information. You know, I think some of you think you understand this now and are, you got it, right? But if we can't make this psychological transformation, which is what I suggest, so still review, right? There's a problem. The problem is in our minds, right? That's the root fucking cause, right? And it's a basic assumption that causes us to see the world and relate to others in a specific way. And on aggregate, it creates what we have as a civilization, right? And we haven't covered new ground for thousands of years, despite accumulating vast amounts of collected knowledge, right? And technical expertise. Our psychological state has remained fixed. And that is what creates the problem. That is what creates the pattern. Okay? So it's actually quite an easy fix. It's not overwhelming at all. All we got to do is rewrite the initial fucking the firmware, right, of our wetware. All we got to do is rewrite the basic assumption in which that colors all of our interactions with others, right? And so this basic assumption is that everyone's just out for themselves, you know? And so it's like at a meeting of hard men, right? That control fucking an organization that operates through violence, right? Which, or the threat of violence, right? The threat to your own life, right, is the motivator in like a gangster fucking society, right? In organized crime. So in a meeting between fucking heads of crime families, everyone assumes, right? And everyone assumes correctly that everyone else is just out for their own gain, right? And it is a question of ability to enforce. And so if you expand that out, it's like that is what we have, right? We have a threat of death system. That's what we have. Right? This is what we've been operating on for thousands of years. And so you can see now that death has been made the enemy, right? And that serves, right? Because if death is what needs to be ultimately avoided at all costs, then that can be used as a motivator, right? But life and death are a natural polarity that exists in nature, right? And so we have to understand it, right? We have to understand that relationship, that life can't be without death, right? Is that how would you define life if there was no dying, right? If everything was forever, then how would you define life? Copy, right? So it's part of the natural order and not something to be fucking used as leverage, right? And so when you use death as leverage, then you hard identify as your body, right? As your living flesh. And that's not who we are, right? So knowing yourself is to know that this is just a vehicle, you know? And so don't take it so fucking seriously, you know? You'll get another go at it. That's also right. So this is a review show, basically. Is like if you listen to the podcast, greenknight.green, greenknight.green, you can check it out there, where it's all just put up on a little player, you know, or you can just search Green Knight on any podcasting platform, all one word, all lowercase, and you'll find it. And so listen from episode 1, right? And then when you finish that, then listen or watch all of the streams and the videos on my YT in order, you know, chronological. And then you can make that journey yourself and it'll be entertaining. Guaranteed, right? You just turn on your mind for a second, you'll be like, I think I can follow this shit. And if you're already following, and you're waiting for the big fucking action, right? Well, the action is with you. And when you fucking take it, then you realize, right, that we're on the same team. And the team is everyone. The team is the totality, right? The team is to operate in the way that in which we were designed to operate, which is to fucking make it to uncharted territory, right? Which is to advance in our comprehension and our output. And our output is in alignment with the rhythm of nature, right? And not this artificial rhythm. And so when we begin to be creative as a collective from that standpoint, when our output is coming from the standpoint of this is our gift, right? Our gift is for everyone to make their contribution, right? We all have our own individual gifts, but we need to do it together because that's how we fucking live, right? So we create a civilization that is able to cross this threshold that we have arrived at into uncharted territory, right? And the only way we can do that is to make this psychological transformation on the inside. So yeah, if you're waiting for the big thing, right? And you're waiting for the huge followership, right? In order to jump on board, then you haven't comprehended it, right? If it's right, then everyone will start fucking thinking it's right, right? Recognize that it's right. Be an early adopter because you have the courage to fucking recognize. You have the courage to fucking let go, right, of your preconceived notions, right? I get frustrated, but it's fucking funny too. Because I'm just like you, y'all. I'm just trying to fucking do the thing too. But this is what I was built to do. Like, there's nothing else I want to do except for to build a portal to the sacred exchange that is humanity, right? Is to reestablish the exchange. And so if you've been watching, or if you're new, then you watch from the beginning and you comprehend that the only way people can live is through exchanging value with each other. And so there is no value without people living. right? And the value pool is always being added to. There's not a diminishing supply. It's ever increasing, right? And so if we recognize that, then we can also recognize that there's no threat, that others are not a threat to us. They're only a benefit. And so it's possible to build this portal to the exchange that is uncorrupted and will remain uncorrupted because we have sloughed off this false skin of conditioning, right? Our condition, the human condition, is not natural, it's a condition, right? It's conditioned, right? So yeah, the review episode, there's a problem and there's a solution. There's a problem, right? It's not just how it is, right? Those of you all who are saying that it'll never change, that this is how this realm is, you know, and fucking stop trying to change it, right? Then all y'all are being fucking co-opted. And yeah, and it's funny because you it's funny in the kind of way where it's so tragic that you have to laugh. And I can see that in my own life too. You know, it's just like, how bad is it gonna get, right? Oh, right, you think this is bad. Oh, it can get worse. It's fucking hilarious, right? And it's really just my state of mind that fucking it requires, right? Is the unblinkering and the removal of the software, the removal of the firmware and reinstallation of the new firmware, which is calm down, right? It's not the end of the world. It could be, right? Could be the end of the world if we don't fucking calm down. You know, that's the fucking irony right there. That's the paradox, right? It's like, what are we gonna do? This is fucked. You know, they just reset the fucking doomsday clock. Fucking retards. You know, delayed development. So we've just been off putting our development this whole time. So yeah, the big action, right, is this letting go, right, of the sense of psychological self, right, is letting go of your identity, you know. And I always talk about this, but a good way to comprehend it is this: soccer is a metaphor for life, and all of the things that happen on the soccer pitch are like little versions of what happens in life, you know. And so in life, fucking scoring is not as common, right? As like you can't do this with baseball and and football, you know, because the scoring is off the charts. There's a lot of scoring, right? Soccer goals are rare, you know, and so it creates this massive, you know, differential when you are in a position to score and you start to fucking identify with the outcome before it happens, right? So if you get the ball in the box, this is what I'm saying. This is the analogy. If you get the ball in the box as a forward, right, and you start thinking about how you will be perceived, right, if you miss, that's what you're visualizing. You're seeing a miss, right? And so that's what you get. On the other hand, if you visualize scoring, I'm not saying that's the solution. What I'm saying is that you will motherfucking score if you let go of fucking considering the outcome. Just let your body go, you know, and you do the miraculous. And so that's what we have to do individually, right? Is to have the courage to let go of your identity and allow for your awareness to guide you to the right thing. And so if we stop trying to preserve and protect and defend our sense of self, right, then we have the potential to become so much more effective. And so it's letting go of that conditioning, right? It's letting go of the conditioning that your identity is who you are, right? And that's something that I've said too. And I was going to say on episode 8 or 9, I was just like, don't take credit, right? Our whole fucking society runs on credit, right? Credibility and credit, you know? And this is all based on this scarcity model of value and this protection of identity, right? And recognition of identity. And, you know, this is boring as fuck because it's so dated and old and tired because this is the way it's been, right? Not from day one, but from day one after the fucking cataclysm. So if you listen to the podcast, right, you comprehend that Earth, there was a golden age. We had it all set up pretty good. Some fucked up shit happened. Who knows what it was, but it probably included some kind of comet strike, you know, and the world changed overnight. And ever since then, we've been an easy target, right? Because we've been in survival mode. And we're still operating in survival mode, even though we're buffered from nature, right? From this constant threat, right? This constant, you know, necessity, right? Of taking action in order to remain ambulatory. So despite this being kind of all over the place, it's still just the 3 or 4 main points of my whole thing. And I want all of you all who are new to comprehend what it is, which is that we can't treat the symptoms, right? So stop thinking that anything can be done to alter what we're doing as a civilization to change our trajectory by treating the symptoms, right? We have to treat the root cause, right? And that is in our minds, and so it's easily accessible. And the root cause is our conception of value. That there's scarcity value and there's abundance value, right? Scarcity is an automatic stratification of the members attempting to access a limiting supply, an automatic stratification, right? And then whoever ends up on top maintains their positioning, and they do everything they can to maintain their positioning. This is what I was talking about before, where I was saying that how competition doesn't select for the best, right? It selects for the worst. It selects for a system of control to maintain the stratification. And so this is what we have. It's division. It divides. And when we operate in that fashion, we get this repeating pattern, right? That if you look at history, you can see it's easy to fucking see. It goes up and then bam, and then it goes up and then bam, right? It's discontinuous, right? And so that could be, as I've said many times, right, is this default, right? We will blip back and forth, right? Inside this polarity, this false polarity, either forever, right? And lose our souls because our souls don't come here for that. They don't come here for the same old thing over and over and over and over and over again, right? This wheel of karma thing is unnatural. If you hear conspiracy theorists talking about how our souls are trapped, right? And when we, like, I'm not going to get into it, but this is what I think, right? This is actually seems extremely likely that this divided consciousness mode of operation, right, which is this competitive mode of operation, which is this autoimmune deficiency fucking society that we have that attacks itself, right, and wastes half its energy, right? This is unnatural. And I gotta get going soon. It's there's a way to fucking fix it, and it's not treating the symptoms, it's treating the root cause, right? And the root cause is this divided consciousness, right? It creates this loop, this time loop, right? That it's almost like a failsafe of the universe, is that no divided consciousness can proliferate. It will fucking do this thing, bing, 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 or it will wink out of existence, right? The only way to move forward, right, to uncharted territory, right, in alignment with cosmic law, right, where what we output is then natural, right, and not unnatural, is to recognize, right, that value is unlimited, right, and that people living only add to the supply, right, and value is actually how we live, right, and so it's a general term and it means all kinds of things, right, but in civilization there is no value without living because people exchange with each other in order to live. And so I'm just hoping this fucking sink in, because I felt like I had to say this in a way altogether, even though I've been saying it over and over and over again. It's time to move to the next step of dialogue for me. So stay tuned for that. And I don't know what it's going to be. It just won't be this anymore, because it will reference it for sure. But I'm just like, how many motherfucking times, How many times do y'all need to hear it before you get it, right? And recognize. And so it really is like, I think some of you can be like, yeah, I have to make that internal fucking switch. I have to flip that switch. And it is just a switch, it's a fucking letting go of your defense of yourself, and just going all in on your passions. And so if you if you do let go, right, then you are able to be guided, by what you are made to do, and that is so that we can make it across this threshold. So the main thing is what we have is unnatural, and it's a problem, right? It incorporates our nature, which is to be creative, but it is corrupted because it is based on avoidance of death, right? Instead of a promotion of life, right? It's that flip. So, like, yeah, it's a death cult, man. It's a death cult. That's how the whole thing fucking works, right? is threat of death and then periodic introduction of massive fucking death in order to get us to sign up, right? To accept the offer. And so we refuse to accept the offer. That's all we got to do. Recognize, right? And not be afraid to die. And I'm not saying that your life, I'm saying that living is actually what we need to do. But if you are afraid that you won't continue to live, then you won't be able to see, you know, you won't be able to perceive in a whole way. And whole perception is what is required in order to operate under the principle of Wu Wei, right? Which is from the Tao, right? Everything I talk about is Taoism for the most part, you know? And that's what it says. If you comprehend, right, what the Tao is saying, it's all Wu Wei. Everything is Wu Wei. And that's this effortless effort, right? And so when you take yourself out of the equation and just be guided, then your endeavor is maximum. And it seems like it's easy, you know, maximum for the benefit of everyone. So much love. Stay tuned, right? Don't be a little bitch or a pussy. I fucking grew up in the 80s, right? I'm youthful. I'll never fucking stop making my body better, you know? And that's not what I mean. What I mean is that if you decide to get old, you will, you know? You don't have to. I'm not saying it's fucking some kind of fountain of youth thing, right? I'm just saying that your body's good. Treat it right and it'll serve you, right? Stop being a little bitch and fucking do the qigong. Listen, right? Try to comprehend. Stop just looking to be entertained, right? If you're fresh, I'm not talking about my core group here, right? Love y'all. And stick with me, okay? Please, because I need y'all. I'm not special. I'm just like you. All of you guys have gifts. I have gifts, right? For some reason, this is what I'm drawn to. This is what I'm passionate about. So I don't give a fuck, right? I'm going for the hardest thing, right? That's what I've always done, right? I'm always charting. I'm always going into uncharted territory for myself. You know, in everything that I create, I don't want to do the same old thing over and over again. I can't be a one-hit wonder. I can't be a one type of product guy. Like I can make jewelry. I'm a chef. I'm a fucking poet. I'm a writer. I'm a illustrator. I'm a 3D modeler. I'm a product designer. I'm all those things. And so because I have that full spectrum, this is the problem that it attracts me, because it includes all of those things. But creative and effective division of labor is who we are, right? We all can't do everything. And so we come together and we reestablish this exchange, right? Based on unlimited supply, because it's not limited, right? It's only limited if we limit it. Living is what creates the addition to the supply. So we promote living. Can you guys get behind it? I'm not changing my fucking story. Sometimes I sit here and wonder, you know. All right, much love. Stay tuned for next time.